Hello guys, hello traders, hello everyone. Today we will have a special subject about pivot point structure and usage. I will explain you what are pivot points basically, how you can use it to your advantage. At the end of the webinar I will present you a special indicator, Tamarillo, and 4 scenarios how to use Tamarillo indicator, because that is one of my favorite indicators for pivot points. So just before we begin, I would like you to listen to my colleague Mikhail. He will tell you a few things about trading, about platform, and then after he finishes we can start with webinar. Thank you guys, and be here with us.
Hello, good afternoon to everybody, or good evening. I'm hoping that your weather is fine. Ours in Estonia right now is not very good. I will now switch everything to my screen. Can you see my screen now? Fantastic. Today you're going to cover a very interesting point with Nenad. You're going to talk about pivot points, but before that, just like we always do, I would like to take a small detour and tell you a little story. Those of you who have attended Admiral Markets webinar sessions before, they have heard about it, but I want to tell you about something a little bit different. Just one second, I think there's a small problem with my screen right now. Okay, I'm hoping that you're seeing my screen right now. If not, well, you haven't missed much. Just once again, my name is Mikhail Onachov. I'm a client relationship manager for Admiral Markets. If you would like to take connection with me, you can do so over the phone, email, and also via Skype. Since this webinar session is dedicated to Forex trading, you will be talking a lot about various currency pairs. I would also like to discuss a pair of sorts, but a slightly different pair. I want to speak about the pair that is constantly having a battle deep within you. I'm talking, of course, about your present self and your future self. This is how I'd like to show you them. This is yourself in the present, and this is yourself long in the future. I'm pretty sure that all of you have experienced this battle a million of times. Like when you're lying in bed in the evening and you're thinking to yourself that you want to stop eating junk food, quit smoking, maybe put 10% of your paycheck into a savings account. Those goals are being set by your future self. Your future self wants to look good, enjoy good health, and be financially stable and have enough money saved to buy a property or retire on a good pension. And I bet that every single one of you have made those plans, and every single one of you have failed at those plans at least once. Those are very good plans, but why did they happen? Why did that happen? Why did you fail? Well, the problem is that just like some smart people, your future self is not very strong. He's a lot weaker than the present self. The present self has a pair of powerful muscle hands that can buy hamburgers and French fries, and the money you wanted to spend, and then maybe finish up with a very nice nutritious smoke after that. The battle between you and your future self and your present self has been fought for 100 of years and has always been extremely difficult for you, and your future self has very little chances of winning. It's always been very, very tough. 19th century economists even said that a temptation and the ability to abstain from the enjoyment which is in our power, or to seek distant rather than immediate results, are among the most painful extortions of will. This was said in 1836, and things haven't changed much. But if we put everything into financial context, your present self wants to spend, your future self wants to invest. This is two outcomes. You either spend things or you invest them. The concept of investment is not only applicable to money. You can always apply to time as well. And right now, you, my wonderful audience, are a great example. Instead of watching TV or having a beer, you decided to invest your time, and you have decided to attend this webinar. Well done. Today your future self was victorious, but it is now very important that you invest the knowledge you are going to acquire today. Otherwise, it is a sunk cost. When the webinar is finished, you can apply the concept of investment where it truly belongs. You can invest money. Once this webinar is finished, you can fund your account and invest the money into an asset that you expect to appreciate and enjoy a capital growth. A few of you might think that argue that Forex is mostly speculating, but our Admiral standard account offers you an easy and convenient way to invest into a growth of a company. You can always long shares of Apple, Boeing, Facebook, or Exxon, and these are just a few examples. Or if you feel like you would like to invest into a whole economy, you can always invest into Dow Jones, FTSE 100, or DAX. They're fair representatives of a huge economic powers. But even if you feel pessimistic, you can just short them and see if the market agrees with your prediction. Either way, when you invest, you're making sure that your future self perseveres. And whilst you watch your investments appreciate, so will your self-control, discipline, and financial stability. Thank you very much for this attention. I will now pass the microphone over to Nenad, and he will talk to you about the most important concepts of Forex he would like to discuss with you today. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much, Nenad.
Thank you very much, Mikhail. Thank you very much for your explanations. So, guys, today, as I told you, we will do nice things. We will do a webinar about pivot points. That is, for me, that is an important webinar, and I think for you should also be very important because you will get knowledge of pivot points and Tamarillo indicator, which I reserve at the end of this webinar. Just before we proceed, a small, as always, risk disclaimer. So by proceeding further, you agree to our risk disclaimer. So we can, of course, start. So today's agenda is: what are pivot points, structure of pivot points, types of pivot point indicators, and practical usage of pivot points. Acronym for pivot points in Forex market is PP. So you always should know what PP is. So PP stands for pivot points. So let's start with small introduction. What are pivot points basically? So pivot points, a pivot point is a technical indicator used to determine important support and resistance levels. Before we proceed further, I need to say the standard pivot point is an indicator which marks support and resistance levels on your screen. Some 10-15 years ago, prior to the era of internet and prior to this electronic trading, floor traders and paper traders, they need to use their formulas, mathematically driven formulas, to plot their pivot points. Today that is very simple because we have access to electronic data, to all complete interbank markets, so it's very easy to plot accurate pivot points on the screen. Basically, PP represents the average of high, low, and closing price from the previous day. And PP analysis is often used in conjunction with calculating support and resistance levels, and that is similar to a trend line analysis. So in a pivot point analysis, the first support and resistance levels are calculated using the width of the trading range between the pivot point and either the high or low prices of the previous day. That isn't very same for Tamarillo indicator, for Marimet, which also plot pivot points on your screen, but for standard, only standard pivot points, PPs. Usually those second support and third support and resistance levels are calculated using the full width between the high and low prices of the previous day. So they use previous daily close, which is usually New York close. It's around 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. So the PP, pivot point itself, represents a level of highest resistance or support depending on the overall market condition. So let's say that if the market is trending, then price will fluctuate from support PP to resistance PP. If the market is directionless, that means undecided, rangy, prices usually fluctuate greatly around 2 pp's until breakout happens. So pp's also are used to determine market sentiment. That means that trading above or below pp's indicates the overall market sentiment. Well, a rule of thumb was some time ago. Rule of thumb was that if the price opens up around, well, it's around 12 GMT midnight. It's midnight time. If the price opens up above PP at midnight, that would mean that next day will be bullish. And if the price would open just below PP at midnight, that would mean that the trend the next day would be bearish on that particular pair. Well, that is mostly the truth, but that is not always the truth. That is why pivot points use more lines. They usually have 3 resistance pivot point and 3 support lines or levels. So, well, the support and resistance levels calculated for the PP and the previous market width may be used at the exit points of the trades. I will show you that they may be used for entry points, for stop losses, for, well, they're either way, they're really helpful tool. So usually standard pivot points calculate by using last session's high, low, and close price. I will show you the formula, but to be honest, that is not very concerned to you because we don't need to take it a lot into account because mathematically speaking, all software on MetaTrader 4 and other platforms do it for us. So we don't have to calculate it manually or by ourselves. Well, usually New York closing time is used, and that is 4 p.m. or 14 EST, that is Eastern Standard Time, and that is 10 Central Standard Time, that is usually my time. We are now in Central Time Zone, Central Eastern Standard Time Zone, and now it's 6:13. So around 10 pivot points start to calculate the levels, pivot point indicator. Also, there are a lot of indicators which plot PPs. I will show you later some of them. And I will show you all the examples how they work. This is the structure of standard pivot point indicator. So if you want, you can take a look, but this is not, as I told you, this is not very, this is just for your information, because if we didn't have our computers, we would have to do it manually. But you know, this is era of interbank trading, internet, so we don't have to know all of this. But just for your information, this is how pivot point is calculated. You have first resistance, first support, second level, second support, third level of support and resistance, and PP, of course, stands between it. The most important is to know that the pivot point is the sum of high, low, and close divided by 3. So let's start with the types of pivot point indicators. Some types of those pivot points are standard PP indicators, Fibo PP, last week support resistance, hourly pivot points, Marimet, and Tamarillo. Let's just say that basically how did pivot points get into a forex market? Well, that was the time of floor traders. And a floor trader, I will tell you just what the floor trader is, because many people ask me what represents a floor trader. Maybe, and usually I think that if you do forex trading and you start with forex business, you have heard it a lot, floor trader. Well, a floor trader is a member of a stock or, well, commodity exchange who trades on the floor of that exchange for his or her own account. So the floor trader usually abides by the trading rules similar to those of the exchange specialists who trade on behalf of others. So floor traders are occasionally referred as registered competitive traders or individual liquidity providers. So floor traders originally used pivot points for setting up key levels. They are day traders. Floor traders are day traders. So they trade short time in very fast moving environment. So at the beginning of the trading day, floor traders would usually look at the previous day's high, low, and close to calculate those PPs for the current trading day. So that is how pivot points got into Forex market. And well, those levels which they calculated, first they calculated it by hand, now as I told you, computers do it. So those levels would then be used to assist their trading throughout the day. Usually those pivot points are accurate. So when you do your analysis, or if you do your system, or if you trade by your system, you would see that using pivot points have a strong impact on the market. Now this is beginners tutorial to pivot points, but I will show you today, all of you who attend, what I use for scalping and what I use for intraday trades. Let's say Camarilla. This will be my explanation to you how you can try to use Camarilla, or how you can use it to your advantage, or with conjunction with your current trading strategy or system. So let's start with standard pivot point indicator. They all do the same thing, except again Camarilla and Marimet maybe. So they identify the trend on higher time frames. Usually we need to watch reaction around PPs. We can use it for entries, we can use it for setting up stop loss, and we can use it for exits. The good thing for PPs is that they can be plotted on every system as additional indicator. I know many traders who trade naked, but most of them use separate template where PPs are plotted. Because many traders use PPs, that means that PPs are strong, because most of them watch those levels when deciding to enter, to exit, or to place a stop loss. The more traders, the more traders look at it and trade by it, the stronger PP is. I know that Camarilla indicator is used by some banks, and you can just presume the amount of money which banks are placing when they trade. So Camarilla is really one of my favorite reversal, support, and resistance indicator. And they also can be used as breakout indicator. I will show you that. There are 4 different scenarios how you can use Camarilla. So typical usage is to identify entries, stop loss, exits, and reaction around it. So that is the typical usage of pivot points. So this is the standard pivot point indicator. This is standard pivot point indicator. Most of you probably know about it. There is a pivot, and there is a resistance, 3 resistance, and 3 support levels. In between are mid support and resistance level, which are calculated additionally for those who want to scalp. Standard pivot points are good. They are nonetheless a great tool to assist you in your trading. Levels can be pretty accurate, because you know there is a standard mathematical scheme for calculating pivots. So there is not much difference between standard Buddhist pivot points and other things. Except, of course, again, I need to say Camarilla indicator. For example, look at this chart. Look at this chart. This is a standard chart without any indicators except standard pivot points. But look at this. Look around here. You see, standard pivot point indicator didn't plot this strong level around here, around this top. Why? Because it doesn't have a mathematical calculation in it to calculate this top. This top. You see, this is basically a triple top, right? And if you draw the line somewhere around here, you can see how strong this level is. Well, Camarilla has it. And later, during this webinar, you will see how Camarilla has this level. And it's marked H3 on Camarilla. On this standard pivot point indicator, this level doesn't exist. So, standard pivot points are good, but they are not for me. This is my opinion. They are not for serious traders. I personally don't use it. You can use it if you have it in your trading system and you believe that your trading system or strategy is successful. But I personally use Bollinger Bands and use Camarilla and my manually drawn red lines to see the levels. So I don't use pivot points. But just if you are beginner traders, that can be useful to you. Because, you know, we talked about those patterns, those candlestick patterns. And this is bearish candlestick. This is also bearish candlestick. So you can use those candlesticks in conjunction with pivot point analysis. So, you know, that is up to you. Standard pivot points are good, but if you ask me, not as good as Marimet or Camarilla. So this is the example of standard pivot point analysis. Standard pivot point indicator. Now we have Fibonacci PPs, where Fibonacci PPs are basically, I saw it many times on different trading strategies. People are filling their systems, which they sell for, I don't know, $97 or $150. Well, you know, Fibonacci pivot points are also, they can be good, but I don't use it. Again, they're based on Fib levels, and they are based on Fib levels plus pivot points. But I'm not sure that many traders use it. Some of new retail traders can use it. But that doesn't mean that Fibonacci PPs are strong if retail traders use it. For PP indicator and PP level to be strong, big banks, hedge fund traders need to use it. That is why Camarilla is one of strongest, also Marimet is one of strongest PP indicators on the market. Now I'm saying this all from my personal experience. It's okay, and pivot points are basically almost the same as wooded pivot points. The structure of usage of mathematical calculation is different. Let's say the Fibonacci pivot points use Fibs, and wooded pivot points is used, let's say, a little regression, that one of the key difference in calculated woody pivot points to other pivot points is that the current session open price is used in the PP formula with the previous session high and low. So again, woody PPs are also good, but my personal experience said that Camarilla is the first, just maybe close to Marimet. I cannot say which one is better, but let's say, because I use Camarilla, I prefer Camarilla. I also use Marimet, but today I don't use it. But let's say that this is almost as accurate as CAM is. Camarilla is CAM abbreviation. So you see, Fib pivot points, again, they have a little drawdown. The drawdown is this. Again, this level has not been taken into account. This is all good. This is around pivot point and support. But what about these levels? What about this level? You see, this is double top. That means that this level is also very important. But why does Fib PP didn't? Why didn't it plot it on the screen? Why didn't it? Because, well, it's a calculation. Fib pips use another calculation. So if you want to use it, you can use it. If your system uses it, and your trading strategy uses it, why not? If it gives you the money, well, then use it. But let's say, for the sake of this webinar, that the Fibonacci PP is not as strong as Tamarillo indicator. Okay. Hourly pivot point indicator. This is another different type of indicator. And this indicator is solely used for scalping purposes. When I scalp, I use hourly pivot point indicator. You can Google it, you can buy it. I think, it's IBF fixed hourly pivot points. You can buy it if you want. You can Google for it. And this indicator it does really a great thing for me. It plots these levels. You see these levels. All of those levels, green and red, are based on hourly calculations. Hourly pivot points are used for scalping, and that is my personal advice to you. If you want how to scalp, or you want a tool which is suitable for scalp, you will use hourly pivot point indicator. Why now someone would ask me, why don't I use hourly pivot, or why don't you use daily pivot point? Just because those levels are calculated at the top of the hour. That means that the level is always with the new candles, when the candle closes and new candle starts to form in, that means that hourly PP indicator will plot different levels based on hourly high, close, open, and low. So this indicator is good tool to you if you want to use it for scalping purposes. I have my trading strategy which I use for breakouts and for scalping, and this tool is indeed, it does help me really a lot. You can try it if you want. You can buy it, but my advice is, whatever you want to, try to get and grab this indicator. It can help you in your day trading. It will help you in your swing scalps, and it will help you on your scalps. And I presume that many traders really who have time, that they usually scalp. And why? Because scalping is, well, is the fastest money to get, is the fastest way to get the money. If you know how to get it, you will get it fast. If you don't know, well, then you will lose the money. But look at the magic of this indicator. Look how good it is. These are all hourly pivots, and these are very accurate. I have tested it on live account. These are very accurate. You see pivot 31.94. It doesn't say 31.95. Usually indicators will plot this 5. But no, this indicator will plot every time, it will plot different numbers based on hourly close of the candle. 38.83. Just watch this fourth decimal. It's not 0 nor it's 5. It's 3, 6, 5, 1, 2, 9. You see? And these hourly pivots are accurate. They help me a lot in scalping. So try to find it on the internet. I think that you will be pleased. Next indicator is, let me switch pointer. So Tamarillo indicator. Let's dive into the magic of this very good indicator for pivot point levels. So, Camarilla, simply said, Camarilla or Camarilla equation, it's a price-based indicator that provides a series of support and resistance levels. Now listen to me, it's like the floor pivots indicator. It's very hard to find floor pivots indicator, and many hedge traders are floor traders which, as I already told you, deal with those levels. So they use a lot of money around those levels. That is why Camarilla indicator is so accurate. Big banks use it, floor traders use it. But what makes this indicator unique is that the fact that each pivot carries a specific call to action. So these are not like the other pivot point indicators excluding hourly pivot points. It's a bit different because this indicator will tell you when to reverse your trade, or when to place a breakout, or where to put your stop loss, or when to short into the market. So you can go with a trend, you can go with a counter trend, you can use candlestick formation and cam indicator to enter the market. It's very widely used, and it can be adapted to every system you are dealing with. So Camarilla uses a powerful method of calculating the price, and the call to action, which I mentioned earlier, is always the same. The equation which Camarilla uses forces you to gather up your inner discipline to trade on the right side of the market, or the right side of probability. So traders, and most of those big bank traders, what means floor traders? I will answer your questions just a bit later, so don't worry. So just because floor traders use it, and just because bank and hedge fund traders use it, that means that most of the money is taken very close to those levels, and that creates a powerful form of self-fulfilling prophecy. What does that mean? That means that the big money, once the big money is injected into the market close to a certain level, it starts to form either a trend or either a breakout. And Camarilla can give you a great breakout trades, also a great support and resistance levels. So pivot points in the indicator are, well, as I say, I use that Camarilla color code indicator. They're usually color coded to remind you which actions to take when certain pivot points are tested. I will show you 4 different scenarios how to use pivot points. So just prior to our start of Camarilla, well, this is calculation which uses this indicator to calculate the current pivot points. Pivot points in Camarilla, yes, I will show you that now. I will explain you everything, and I will give you 4 different scenarios how you can trade Camarilla. So Camarilla pivot points for me are the most accurate, along with Marimet. Marimet is a separate example. It's very long story about Marimet, so we won't do it today. We will do it this Camarilla in its core. So this is calculation. This is calculation of PPs in Camarilla indicator. So there are 6 levels along with pivot point. Pivot point is a central. So there is H5, H3, H4, H3, then it goes PP, Camarilla pivot point, then we have L3, L4, and L5 levels. Now, so Camarilla trading, this is very simple explanation. Before we begin, usually market will open in between the H3 and L3 level. So H3 is resistance levels, and L3 is a support level. If the price opens up in between H3 and L3, you need to wait for the price to approach either of these two levels, and then whichever level it hits first gives you the first trade. If the price opens up in between H3 and L3, H3 is resistance, L3 is support. If the price opens up above H3 and H4, that means that H4 is resistance, H3 is support. But usually, most of the time, for example today also, the price is opened just above L3 and just in between L3 and H3. I will show you the chart later. So if you want a short trade, you usually want to look the price to bounce back down into H3 level before entering the trade. Usually if it's above H3, you want hourly close below H3, then retest, and then if it fails, you go short. Stops are usually placed above H3 for short trades and below L4 for long trades. If the market opens up outside H3 and L3, we should wait for the market to retreat back through L3 or H3 level, as we want to trade with the trend. But also, this Tamarillo can be used for counter trend trades. Let's see 4 different scenarios which you can use Tamarillo indicator. Scenario 1. I will show you each scenario also in the picture. So first scenario is that the price opens up between H3 and L3. This is scenario 1, and this is most common scenario. For long trade, you need to wait for the price to go below L3, and then when it moves back above L3, you should buy. Stop loss will be when price moves below L4. The first target is pivot point, the second target is H3. For short trade, wait for the price to go above H3, and then when the price moves back below H3, sell. Stop loss will be when the price moves above or just above H4. First target is pivot point, second target is L3. So we can see this scenario on our next example. So this is the first scenario. Usually what you want to on your CAM pivot point indicator is to adjust your time zone. My time zone is currently GMT +2, but for me I don't do it because I want GMT time zone, because GMT time zone is maybe, well, those are slight deviations between GMT London and GMT +2. So I usually leave it on GMT time zone. So you can see a very good example of today's price action. Even though I didn't trade, I did maybe, I think I got some 10 pips today on some small trade, but there was no momentum. I don't like to trade on bank holidays. But look at the price action here. Just for the explanation on this first scenario on Tamarillo. Look at this, price has opened just above L3, and it closed above L3. And usually after that the price went to H3, and the price failed. It made a triple top. You see how this indicator properly draw the line here. Even though it's 3 pips below it, this high is 32.26. It's okay. By adjusting your time zone, you can get it to the pip. But for me, it doesn't matter because I can see the reaction here. You see 32.23. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Sorry. You see, 4 times the price went above H3, and 4 times the price has been rejected of the H3. And today the price, you see, the price failed to close H3. Also we have a shooting star here. So let's talk about candlestick configuration and this indicator. As I told you, this is one of my favorite indicators. So look at this price action. Shooting star. Failed to close 2 times, and the trend line, descending trend line. This is descending triangle, and the price has failed to get into the triangle and above. And of course, this trade could, and I did it with very small stop, but I couldn't wait it for too long because there was no momentum to the market. But well, you see, price was gravitating to L3. So usually this first scenario tells us wait for the price to hit either L3 or H3 and trade it. First trade was long and the second trade is short. This scenario 1 is good in ranging markets. So in ranging market conditions, this scenario can be of a good use. Okay, let's talk now about the second scenario. Open price is between H3 and H4. For long trade, when price moves above H4, buy. Stop loss is just below H3. Target is H5. Short trade, when the price goes below H3, sell. Stop loss is just above H4. Target is pivot point and the second target is L3. Let's see the scenario. This is it. So this was the opening candle at the London Open. This candle. I like to see those London Open trades because usually Tamarillo indicator is very good in London Open and New York Open sessions. So you don't to trade it just by opening of Asia because most momentum is done and it's used in London session. So we can use this Tamarillo indicator effectively at the start of the London session. This was the candle, and this is a big bullish candle which closed above H4, and that can give us a good trade, breakout trade to the upside. So you see what happened. The price went down a bit and then it went to test H5 target almost to the pip. In conjunction with hourly pivot points, you can use it to place stop loss. Standard Tamarillo rule is to place stop loss just below this H3. If I use hourly pivot point indicator, I would place a stop loss just above this level, just below this level for this trade. So how would it look scholastically? How would it look on Tamarillo? How would I trade it? I would open a trade around here. I would place a stop loss just below there because I use hourly pivot points in conjunction with Tamarillo. For conservative traders, here should be placed, stop loss should be placed just below H3. And afterwards, you see how the price went almost to touch A5 levels, H5 target. So this is a very, very good example. Also, let's see what happened 12 hours ago. You see L3, the price went very, very bullish above L3. Then it went just a little bit of retrace. Then this is L3. It went to H3. Just watch the candles. None of those candles has closed below H3. So if we want it for a short trade, we would need to wait this candle or this candle to close below H3, and then we can start a short trade. But none of these candles has closed below H3, so we can use it for further targets, H4. And then when H4 broke out, you see H5 was the target. Scenario 3 is open price is between L3 and L4. Same, when the price moves above L3 buy, stop loss is just below L4. Target 1 is pivot point, target 2 is H3. Also for short selling, when the price goes below L4 we sell. Stop loss is just L3. You see, this is our second scenario and this is our third scenario. So when the price is between L3 and L4 and it moves above L3, look at this great example again. This is all today's example because Tamarillo plots different levels for each day. So this is today's example. You see, what would you do here? Let's say that you have seen a potential trade in this pair. It's sterling pound and Swiss GBP Swiss. So you see a gap here. And look at the price, guys. First, the candle broke through L4. And then it went to L5. So short target is here. And then after it broke to the upside, it made a gap. But you see the price closed above L3 on this candle and on this candle. What would you do is to place a trade around here, stop loss around there, and your first target should be H3. But look at this, the price went above 1, 2, 3 candles. Then it tested H3, but it didn't close below H3. And then again, after the breakout, look, the action was almost to the pip. And the magic of this Tamarillo is that it works on each pair. So we don't use it just for majors. We can use it on each pair, be it a standard pair or an exotic one. So you see, again, the price, let's say that, neglect this, even though this is a good trade, this is not a scenario 3. Scenario 3 is when the price is between L3 and L4 and moves above L3. Look at this. L3, this candle. Look at this candle. Let me clear the screen for you. So look at this candle. The candle has closed above L3 after a gap. That is a signal for long trade. We can place a stop loss just below pivot point if we are aggressive traders, or if we want to do it conservatively, we can place it just before L4, just below L4. And then we can drive the price towards H3. Let's say that we have closed the trade around here because the price has tested the level. Then we wait. Let's see if this candle will close lower. It went lower, but it didn't close lower. That is why we don't trade on leaving candle. We wait for the candle to close. And then after it, you'll see the candle has broke through L4, closed around there. Then it went down to test L4 level and it touched H5. So we could have made 2 good trades after this. So this is our first trade, we close it here, and this is our breakout trade, we close it there. So this is scenario 3. And scenario 4 is open prices outside the H4 and L4. Wait for the prices to come in range and trade accordingly. So you always wait for the price to come in range. If the price is outside H4 and L4, wait to retest L4 or wait to close below H3 and then place a short trade. If price is just around L4, wait for it to close around L3 and then place a long trade. Anything specific? I will answer to your question, no problem. So first scenario, second scenario, and third scenario. Also, you see how the price, this was earlier move on the GBP. So it's a June price action. You see what can you notice with this with this move. You see, very easy to use if you know how to use it. L4 short breakout here and L5 was tested. Then the price reversed, the candle has closed above L4, we put stop loss here or here, then retest, and then bam, H3. And then again H4, and probably the price has tested H5 region. So L3 and H3. If the L3 is first hit, then we long to H3. If the H3 is firstly hit, we short it into H3. If the price is around here and it closes below H3, we short it. If the price is around here and it closes just above L3, we long it. I usually use it around, or I use it at 1 minute and 1 hour time frame. You can use it in conjunction with hourly pivot points, so it can give you a good scalping chances. So this was, and now I can answer to your question. So where can I find the Tamarillo pivot point indicator? Google for it, and this is how it's called on my platform. It's Tamarillo DT8. You can Google it. It's free indicator, and you can use it to your advantage. So this is free indicator. But you need to know, and I showed you 4 different scenarios how to trade it. You can try to trade it. Or if you use it in conjunction with your trading strategy, then just plot it on your screen so you can use it in conjunction with your trading strategies. The second question is, do the letters used in Tamarillo like L, M, H represent anything specific? I don't see anything specific. For me, this is how I learn it. L is long, H is short. This is maybe high or something, and this is low. So probably this stands for high 4, high 5, high 3, and this stands for low 3, low 4, and low 5. So it doesn't matter to you. For you, it doesn't have any difference, because you want to use these 4 scenarios for trading with Tamarillo indicator. So I think that I have explained most of these indicators to you. So if you want to know anything about it, you can ask me. If you're not sure again what these indicators tell you, this webinar is being recorded, so you can watch it later on our Admiral Markets education page. So if you have any further questions, guys, don't hesitate to ask me. My suggestion to you is that you use those indicators as you want. You can use standard pivot points. You can Google it, standard pivot point indicator. You can download it. You can use Woody. You can use hourly used for scalping. You can use Fibonacci pivots. But for me, the best combination is hourly pivot points and Tamarillo in conjunction with candlestick patterns. So you can use those levels to calculate your entry point, stop loss, and exit price. So usually you will close around turning point, because Tamarillo indicator plots you reversal levels, and that is the big advantage. Also, I can use it along with the Bollinger Bands, because Bollinger Bands tend to give you a great support and resistance levels. So if you see that Bollinger Band is around here and around there, you know that the price has reached those 2 levels. So you can go with counter trend trades. As you know, usually Bollinger Band are used on counter trend trades. So then again, you can use Tamarillo indicator with Bollinger Bands, with candlestick patterns. We had webinar about candlestick patterns, and you can use it along with your current trading strategy or system. Okay, because I don't see any questions, I will conclude this webinar. So tomorrow I will do my analysis again. Early in the morning you can use my Spiders Den web page to see the analysis. I will update Admiral Markets blog page. I will also update Admiral Markets Serbian blog, Worldwide Investment Forum, and Facebook on Admiral Market Facebook page. So I will do my analysis. What are they? I can show you. I will type this. forexfactory.com. You can find my blog. It's called Spiders Den. It's called Spiders Den. My name is Tarantula on Spiders Den, on Forex Factory. Then you can use Worldwide Investments. You can Google for it, and it will give you again. Tarantula. This is my username on that forum. Also, Admiral Markets Facebook page. Go to Facebook and then type Admiral Markets. You will see my analysis as analysis done by Tarantula. It will be posted by Admiral Markets, and in parentheses it will stay analysis by Tarantula. So you will see that this is, you will know that that is my analysis. Also, you can go with forextrade.rs, and there is Admiral Markets Serbo-Croatian page, where I update my analysis on Serbo-Croatian language. Again, sorry for not answering your question. Floor traders. What are floor traders? Again, I will tell you what floor traders are. Well, simply put, floor trader is usually a member of stock or commodity exchange who trades on the floor of that exchange for his or her own account. Floor trader usually abides by trading rules which are similar to those of the exchange specialist. So floor traders are registered competitive traders or individual liquidity providers. Floor traders are good, usually very good traders and prime traders for their own accounts or for other accounts. Floor traders use pivot points originally. So those traders are traders who trade with a lot of money, and usually they use those levels which are painted in Tamarillo indicator to trade it. So floor traders are traders who trade on stock, commodity exchange, forex market, but mostly it's used on stock or commodity exchange markets. And they trade with a big money. So there are who are floor traders. So they are professional traders. Traders, they are not like retail traders. Yes, they are not like retail traders. They put a lot of money, and we retail traders, well, some of us have the money, some of us have less money, but you know, retail traders are dealing usually with less money. So when will pivot points be uploaded? Pivot points webinar is currently being recorded, so I think it will be uploaded maybe by tonight or by tomorrow. I think it should be uploaded maybe by tomorrow. You will see a lot about Tamarillo scenarios. So if you have other questions, don't hesitate to ask me. Sorry, I will mute my Skype. Okay, this is it. So usually when I speak about floor traders, I use the term for exchange trader specialist, and they usually trade for their own and account of others. So don't be afraid of that term, floor traders. They are normal people like me and you, but they do mostly trading on stock or commodity exchange market. and the pivot points are originally used prior to entering Forex on commodity exchange and stock markets. And then when Forex market got very popular, other traders started to use it. Big bank traders, hedge fund traders, retail traders, institutional traders, and so on. So, guys, just as I always say, be very, very patient with trades. Don't rush into trades when there are bank holidays. Don't rush into trades prior to big news. I will always say that, and be very, very cautious with trading in the range. Trading in the range is not the same as trading with a trend, and that is when Tamarillo indicator may help you. Just a quick reference. Again, this is, if you want to take a screenshot now, you can take a screenshot now. So you can use these 4 different scenarios to your advantage when trading with Tamarillo indicator. And of course, you can use this webinar later after it's uploaded. You can watch it again. So take a screenshot of those 4 different scenarios, press Alt and print screen, or use a program to capture the screen, and then copy, paste it on your Paint or wherever you want to have a screenshot of this. So I will continue with my analysis and continue with webinars. Of course, don't forget to like Admiral Markets webpage. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. And guys, talk to you very soon. That will be Thursday when me and Chris will have another webinar. So thank you very much for attending, and many green pips to you. Cheers and bye-bye.
The organizer